Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
It's more of a cult. Like Islam is not a cult. Like it's just the true religion. It's just the real. It's just.
Of course, it's a cult. It's a derivational cult of Christianity. Would you like to discuss?
It's not a cult. It's just.
Of course it is. Would you like to discuss? Would you like to? Hey, listen! Don't overtalk me. I said yes, it is a cult, and I said, yeah, you have been rambling for minutes, borderline incoherently. Now I'm challenging what you're saying. Yes, you have been. I've been listening to you.
Continue your point.
Now you said it's not a cult. Now overtalk me again, and I'm going to server mute you. Okay. Now you said it is not a cult. I am challenging you, saying it is a derivational cult of Christianity. Now, would you like to discuss our difference of view here?
No. Your dog died or something.
Okay. Does Muhammad claim to be in the lineage of the Old and New Testament prophets?
He said no. He doesn't want to talk to you.
Okay. Now, John, you said science is atheism. How does the study of the physical world, John, get you to there is no God?
I didn't really say that science is atheism. I said that you can't.
Yeah, yes, you did. I was listening very carefully. That's why I took note of what you said and made a mental note to ask you about that.
John, are you an atheist?
Yeah,
John, I heard what you said.
I don't like the label.
I'm quoting you almost verbatim.
Well, what I actually mean is that science, I said something along the lines that science by default is essentially atheistic.
That's right.
In other words,
no, sir.
Science
you're quite mistaken.
Prove gods exist.
No, you're not understanding. Atheism is the denial. John, atheism is not the withholding of judgment toward God. Atheism is the denial of the existence of God. There is no actual philosophical position that withholds judgment from God. There is the position of agnosticism that claims to withhold judgment from God, but we can clearly show that it's actually an indirect denial. So whatever subject matter is under consideration, it will either acknowledge God as its ultimate source, or it will deny God either explicitly or implicitly. Okay? So are you under the view that atheism is a kind of some withholding judgment or neutrality toward God?
Well, it's more that science just doesn't make any claims.
I asked John the question.
Yeah, well, John's an idiot.
I asked John the question.
Yeah, I suppose you just
can
like
ask
talking
me,
to idiots.
Okay, listen to me carefully. You guys you're free to join in and respond to the question after John answers.
Go ahead,
so do you have an answer, John?
What was the question?
The question is it your position that atheism is the denial of God, as we find out in the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy stipulates? Or is it your position that atheism is a kind of withholding judgment about God, vis-a-vis when you invoke science?
I think I'd go with this. There's a second one. Like when scientists do science, they don't try to.
No, they don't withhold judgment. No, they do not withhold judgment. This is a bogus claim because you cannot be neutral toward God. Oh, hey, Morgan, please don't overtalk me while I'm speaking.
Can I just clarify something?
Okay? I said, please do not overtalk me while I'm speaking. Please wait your turn.
Chill, just relax.
Okay, and I'm going to server mute you. Okay, if you step in and moderate me one more time, you're going to be server muted.
Jesus.
Now I'm asking John when. Okay, have it your way, Morgan. There you go. There's your red duct tape, Morgan. Okay, I politely asked you several times to stop over talking me. So now, John, one cannot be neutral toward God any more than you can be neutral about whether you're dead or alive. Either you choose to believe that God is the ultimate precondition of all temporal states, or you choose not to believe that. Okay?
Can I
accept what I just stated? You may wait. John, do you accept what I just said?
No.
Oh, could you tell me how there's a third option between choosing to believe in the necessity of God versus not believing? What's the third option?
Not accepting your axiom.
No, okay, that's the second horn of the dichotomy, John.
What if I don't start with God exists?
John, either you choose to believe in the necessity of referencing the necessity of God or not. Okay, so there's two horns. John, listen carefully. Shut
I am
up.
listening, but you
Shut
can't
up,
prove
everyone
that,
else.
You're just asserting
Shut up. John, listen to me. Now I want everyone in the room to take notice that when atheists get confronted by a question that they are troubled about, they start to get argumentative. Now, I gave you a true dichotomy.
I thought that's what we're doing is arguing.
Either you believe, John, let me finish. I have given you a true dichotomy. There is not a third option. I will go over it again, and then I will shut my yap, and you can answer the dichotomy. Either you believe in the necessity of referencing the necessity of God or not, okay? It via the law of excludability. Something is either A or not A. Now, I have given you a true dichotomy there. There is not a third option, John. Are we clear?
There's not a third option because you've dogmatically, using your own terminology, have backed me.
No, all I said is either you believe or not.
I told you I don't accept
the dichotomy.
I don't accept your terminology or your framework here.
Okay, what you're now doing is you're being deceptive in your response because you're uncomfortable with the question.
Okay,
now,
well,
either one believes, John. Listen, I really don't want to have to server mute you, okay? Because you're not going to pull the same garbage you have on other servers. Okay. Now I asked you a question. Either one will believe in the necessity of referencing the necessity of God as the precondition of all facts, or not. It is a true dichotomy, is it not, John?
Stop repeating yourself.
Okay, John, you want to turn into a troll? You're done. Okay? So this is what they do, folks. When they get confronted with the BS that they say, and you give them a very circumspect, clear question, right, that they are uncomfortable with answering, or they don't want to answer it, or expose the vacuousness of what they're saying, then they become argumentative and trollish. And that's exactly what he's done here. And this is what he has always done on other servers. Okay? Now,
20 minutes later.
Now, John, I took you off mute. Now, you can send me all the taunting, childish, adolescent messages you want about Tom Rabbit recording about what a terrible person I am, but you got server muted because you started to become obnoxious and argumentative rather than to respond to the questions that I was putting forth. Okay? You want to make bold, sweeping, almost universal statements, but then when you're called on the carpet to unpack that, then you become argumentative and deceitful. So don't put the blame on me when you misbehave like you're a teenager at the lunch table at the cafeteria table, John. See, this is the little game. This is the little game that atheists play, that when they get confronted with a biblical apologetic that is insurmountable for them, then they go to their 107 stratagems of obfuscation, prevarication, and misdirection that they pull. This is what they do, right? They are extremely devious and deceitful, okay? And why do I have this attitude? Because I've been dealing with atheists for 10 years. I know how deceitful they are, okay? Some are more deceitful than others, but it all comes down to deceit, okay?
Hey, Darth, are you familiar with the history of philosophy, like the Enlightenment, modernity, postmodernism?
Mm-hmm. Get to your point.
That was a question, Darth.
Yeah, I have a basic familiarity. Okay, what's your point?
Like, that's what I was talking about before you came in the room and muted me. Okay. I was talking about.
No, you were muted for bad behavior
during the Enlightenment and how.
So you were muted for just talking?
I muted you because I asked you to stop repeating yourself. Like
no, I said Okay, listen, did you get muted for bad behavior?
Listen, I don't want to be muted again, so I'm just going to stop talking.
Yeah, okay, good. So then you can be quiet then. Okay? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I have a history with jonjon. Okay? He wants to ride high in the saddle like he knows what he's talking about, but when somebody challenges him, then he changes modes to being argumentative. Okay? I asked you a legitimate philosophical question, and you immediately went into plan B of verbal obstruction. Okay? You were not muted because I didn't like what you said or I disagreed. You got muted because you were being verbally obstructive. I don't have any compunctions anymore in calling out the atheists in their sleazy, slimy behavior.
Darth, do you know what dogmatism is?
Tell me. Why don't you educate me?
Asserting something as undeniably true.
Okay, and is that a problem?
So, in the post-structuralist crowd, the post-structuralists have been described as a linguistic version of postmodernists. They concluded that there is no objective reference to the meaning of language, that we merely impose meaning to language. Now,
is that objectively true?
Well, let me finish, man. I noticed,
yeah, I don't need a community college lecture.
Well, the point I'm making is that
so when they say there's no, all right, hold on.
Darth.
So there's no objective grounding, and how do they know that? How do they know that universal?
Before you go into 20 questions mode, let me finish my thought.
Hey, jonjon, how do they know that before you move on? How do you know that there's no objective grounding?
Okay, I tried, Darth. I can't. You got me, man.
So if I say the grass blows in the wind, other than the fact that the word grass is a token, okay, the grass can be the word, we can use the French word for grass, we could use the Swahili word for grass, but when I say the grass is blowing in the wind, that's not objective?
Me personally,
yeah,
I hate the arguments around objective. It's such a semantic disaster.
Oh, are you being dogmatic? Are you being dogmatic about that point? Is your point dogmatic? Is the point that you asserted, is that dogmatically true?
Yeah, listen, Darth. I just
That's a legitimate question.
Like, some people are okay with not having what you may call absolute truth.
Notice the dodging of the question.
Well,
this is what you do. You are a slimy, deceitful person. I asked you a direct question.
It's okay to not know.
I didn't ask you if you know. I said, is what you said dogmatically true? Do you have an answer to my question?
No, I said it's the opposite of dogmatism because I'm being open. Okay. I said that people argue about it all the time.
You're open to what, jonjon? What?
I'm open to the dialogue centered around what we mean by objective, trying to figure out what we mean by it.
Here's the problem. What you just said is meaningless in your world because you have no identifiable ultimate that's going to ground the actuality. And why are you over talking me?
Because
this is what you do, jonjon. This is why you're a little man child and I call you out. I'm responding to what you said and now you're cutting me off. Now, my point is what you just said, although you think it's meaningful and intelligible, there's no background information to ground what you said, or you could tell me otherwise. Can you do that?
Say that again.
Do you have any metaphysical worldview background information that would make what you just said intelligible?
No, Darth, I don't have the objective reference to language, or excuse me,
I didn't ask you about language. I just simply said in your worldview.
No, I don't have God.
Is there? Well, first of all, I didn't mention God. I didn't mention God. Okay, jonjon, listen to me. If you overtalk me again, I'm going to server mute you and I won't remove it. Okay? This is what you do. You are an argumentative person. This is your shtick. Now, is there something that is foundational, that is unchanging in and of itself, that is going to ground the actuality and regularity and intelligibility of any propositions that come out of your mouth?
I'm just going to say that I am the objective reference, like people are. So, like,
you're not understanding the question.
So people are
obviously you didn't understand the question. You cannot appeal to
most
yourself
philosophers are
to
moral realists,
answer
for example.
John. All you're doing is you're giving me rhetoric. Okay, I didn't ask you about yourself. I said, is there something that is ultimate, that is absolute, and utterly unchanging? Okay,
That's
listen to me, John. Listen to me. You want to present yourself as being knowledgeable in this area. You're not. I'm going to expose that you're not.
You don't
listen
like
carefully. Okay, bye, John. Yeah, here we go again, folks. This is the sleaziness of the atheist. Because I'm objecting to his non-answer to my question, they go, you just don't like my answer. This is the kind of response I get from adolescents, John.
Well, what should I say, Darth? Is it
John? I'll repeat the question. Okay, I'll repeat the question that you did not answer. Okay, all you gave me was rhetoric. You didn't address the question. In your worldview, when you speak propositions to me, as you have done this evening, is there something that is ultimate, that is absolute, it is invariant in and of itself, it's not subject to change, that is going to ground anything foundational that will impose any kind of regularity and allow for actuality and the intelligibility therein? Okay, is there anything that is foundational in reality that secures these things, John?
Yeah.
What is it?
Conscious experience.
No, John, listen to me. Either you're totally clueless that you don't understand the question. Consciousness are contingent states. Consciousness is ever changing. When I take it you're talking about human consciousness. What I'm asking you is, what is it that is ultimate and absolute, that is the source of everything that is, can be, and cannot be, for the set of all real things? What is it that is absolute, that provides for everything that is? Don't overtalk me till I'm done. I'm specifying so that you can understand it. I want to know what it is that is foundational to the set of all real things that institutes what is, can be, and cannot be, so that there can be intelligibility for propositions. What is it, John?
All right, so there's no way for you to know this, so it's completely fine. But
so you don't have an answer to the question, is that correct?
I'm just trying to clarify something. You misspoke.
Is that you don't have an answer to the question, John?
Yeah, I do. I'm just trying to.
Okay, John, what is it? What is it that is?
Darth, you're being really rude, man.
Well, I'm waiting. Do you have an answer or not?
Yes, but I have to clarify.
What is it, John? What is this ultimate?
It's the same answer, but you said that. Oh, John, what you talking about?
John. Are you talking about human consciousness?
From the perspective of
John, listen to me. You're doing your shtick again that you've always done on Discord.
Do you know what panpsychism is?
I will ask you. Okay, all right. Okay, bye, John. We're done. See, this is what he always. This is what they do. They try to scurry down semi-related rabbit trails as a form of prevarication and obfuscation. And then they go, you just didn't like what I said. No, it has nothing to do with that I didn't like what you said. What you said does not answer the question. To appeal to human consciousness, to answer the question, is patently absurd. Either you're totally clueless in understanding the question, which I have unpacked several times, or you're deliberately obfuscating, okay? Human consciousness does not stand in causal relations to an asteroid, okay, in motion halfway across the universe. I asked you, what is it that is absolute, ultimate, that is the source of everything, of the set of all real things, of everything that is, can be, or cannot be, right? And then you say consciousness. That is patently absurd, okay? Patently absurd. Human consciousness is derivative. It is temporal. It is changing. It is not invariant. It is not fundamentally and eternally absolute, and the source of everything that is, can be, or cannot be in terms of the set of all real things. See, this is what these atheist clowns will do. Take note. They will pretend that they're answering the question, and they will just simply spew out empty rhetoric. And then when you challenge them on how vacuous the response is, that it really wasn't specific or germane to the question, then they start to go into their troll mode going, yes, it was. You just didn't like the answer. This is why I have nothing but contempt for internet atheists. Okay? Yeah, John, please stop sending me your little childish adolescent messages. They won't be read and you will be blocked from here on out. Okay? I tried to converse with you, okay, like an adult, but your mind is still stuck in adolescence. Okay? By the way, did you get that, Tom Rabbit?